Here now at this point and welcome our audience in. This is a live video. Actually, it's not really, yes, live and recording, but this is a pre-recorded video that the public will see. You guys, this is the Family Cash Machine Friday call. We do this call every Friday. It's a mindset training. This is a school. We have our own courses, cryptocurrency and money courses and wealth courses, corporations, trust funds, all the things that you think is not relevant in your life, but all the things that actually control your everyday life. You see that money sign behind us and you see that globe. Well, that money sign now is becoming digital. That money sign now is becoming a part of the digital world, the technological world. And this is the race that we're in right now, China and America versus all these other countries. It's not just about oil anymore. It's more about technology. And so for you to engulf or embrace yourself in this would actually put you in a position to create generational wealth. Now, I notice when I start saying generational wealth, some people go, wow. And then some people go, oh, and they leave. Because that's a language they're not used to hearing. That's a word that they don't think is attainable. And this is why I'm going to talk today about the mindset of a winner and the mindset of a loser. Now, again, this is a cryptocurrency, wealth, business, understanding money type platform where we teach people how to create their own income in the Family Cash Machine and how to work together as a team to basically amass and be the first one in your family to create generational wealth. That's what we talk about here. That's not just talk about. We have courses now that solidify that and support that. Now, why is it I'm talking about mindset? I think I need to continue these courses of mindset, and these are going to be free courses that we're going to offer to every class. We're going to start dripping some of these in every class because I realize that the reason that most people don't become their own entrepreneurs is they don't have a lot of belief in themselves. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the mindset of a winner and the mindset of a loser. Now, when I examine the mindset of a winner, I say to myself, a winner is really us moving in accord to our nature. Your nature is a winner. Your nature is a winner. Your nature is not a loser. You are a winner by nature. And what is it that develops the mindset of a winner, and what is it that develops the mindset of a loser? And so I started to examine that, because what I noticed is people who are winners, they become great people. They become people who are, they kind of like go against the odds type of people. And because, from the smallest existence in our universe, which is an atom, you have a negative and you have a positive charge. So you can't escape negativity. You can't escape opposition. In order to be a winner, you have to be a person that has become accustomed to opposition. Okay. Now, when you look at the nature of things, I was looking at something the other day about a baby. And when babies learn how to walk, do you know that babies, they don't understand words, but they can feel vibrations. Babies can understand, they can feel energy, and they can feel the love and energy from the parents believing in the child, loving the child. They can feel that. So I'm just looking at how babies walk. When a baby first walk, it's funny because if you watch them, they're like, because I got kids, so I've watched my kids, when they first walk, they're like, oh my God, I'm walking, they're like surprised. They're like shocked that they're actually doing it, right? And then they fall. What is that? What is that gives this baby from a infantile age the ability to believe they can do something, even though they don't understand words? They feel the energy of the parents' belief, and one day they challenge something called gravity. Now, gravity, really what it is an opposing force. It is an opposing force. It's always pulling everything on this earth. So here's a child at a certain point of its development, even though they don't understand, their nature is to move in opposition to opposition. That's their nature, to overcome opposition. And so one day they stand up and they start walking, and then they might laugh and go, oh my God, then they get excited and they fall. So what is that? What is that? That is how we're created. We're created from birth to be winners. And it's not until later in life that you succumb to the opposition that you start creating the mindset of a loser. See, you're not born with that mindset. This is something that you start to accumulate different opinions, and you start accepting these opinions as your own personal belief. Then these beliefs start to become hardened, and it becomes your attitude, and it becomes your doubt and inefficiency and inadequacy in yourself. That's when you start developing the mindset of a loser, but it's not natural. But what I'm saying to you guys is, if you just watch the baby and that process that they go through, why is it that they fall? Because first of all, the muscles have not yet developed to hold his weight and to balance him for long periods of time. It is a continuous process that he has to go through, or she has to go through, to be able to stand longer, to be able to walk further. You know, it is a constant, repetitious fight with opposition. Wow, that's deep. And so, again, like I said, we're born to win. We're born as winners. And because as we grow up and we start listening to other things, and it just goes to the left. But what I wanted to say, my point that I'm making here is the same laws that can be applied physically. There's an old saying, as below, so above, or as above, so below. So studying the baby and the first process that we go through of belief, or it's kind of like the baby doesn't know, but the baby has enough belief and faith to try it. And then at a certain point, it's like, oh my God, I did it. They can't even believe they did it, because their own inert nature and living in accord to their nature, no one's taught them yet to go against their nature. So their nature is to conquer opposition. Now, this is the same law physically that can be applied spiritually when we're talking about being a businessman, being a successful businesswoman. If you say to yourself, I want to be a successful businesswoman and I want to have a certain goal that you want to achieve, all kind of opposition is going to come your way, because this is the way the universe is created. The key is not to succumb to the friction and the opposition. Now, at the core of a winner is a person who has mastered overcoming opposition and consciously now can recognize opposition and consciously now continues to struggle. So when you see a person that's a network marketer is making a 6-digit figure, I guarantee you the reason that person is such a masterful salesperson, the reason that person is such a masterful entrepreneur, is because they become accustomed to opposition. Because in any sales, you're going to get 100 no's to every one yes. And so what this person has done is repetitively, they've become accustomed to opposition, and they've learned how to master opposition. So every time they get resistance, they sharpen their skills. Every time they get rejection, they hone their craft. Every time they get friction, they learn something from it. Wow. And so eventually they become a master in sales. They become a master with people. In order to understand sales, you got to kind of study people. You got to look at people's body language. You got to look at you got to listen to people. Now, recently, I've been watching a lot of women's videos. I know they say, oh my God, Eric, what are you talking about? I've been watching a lot of women's videos. I've been listening to a lot of our women. And I'll tell you why. I'm even reading a book, an audio book on women. I'm going to tell you why. Because as men, sometimes we think a little different. And so in order to really understand women, we got to listen. We got to listen. But in the masculine characteristics, we have this aggression to do and to tell them what to do or show them what to do, or to be somewhat of a leader and an administrator. But what I'm noticing about being a good leader is you got to be a good listener. Okay? You have to be able to listen. There's certain characteristics that a winner has to accumulate. There's certain characteristics that in order to be a winner, you have to acquire. Okay? Now, although we're born with a certain nature to be a winner, and I'm gonna tell you how you're born with as a nature as a winner. I've said this before, that even from the time of the inception of the, I want to say the inception. I'm not going to go into how it happens, but there's hundreds of millions, okay, of male genes injected in the womb. And out of those hundreds of millions of sperm cells, there's only one that makes it. That was you. That was me. So again, we had to make it against gravity. Wow. We had to move against gravity, and we had 24 to 48 hours and we died. So just the very inception of our birth, just coming into it, to come into existence even, you had to move against opposition. That's deep to me, because that studying that physical law, I'm applying that spiritually now, because there's so much opposition in the world when you're trying to accomplish something, when you're trying to become something, or you're trying to achieve a certain goal. You're going to have a lot of friction, opposition. You're going to have a lot of gravity pulling against where you're trying to go. That's just the nature of things. And when you understand that, you become a winner. But when you succumb to the forces of pull, you become a loser. And then you start rationalizing. See, a loser is not just a loser. A loser's not going to say, hey, I'm a loser. You're not going to hear that. A loser is going to say, well, the reason why is because this and because that. They become a master in excuses. See, they succumb to something that was pulling them in a direction against their nature. So they become this excuse machine. And women hate that. Women hate a guy that always got some damn excuses. Why this and why that? He always got an excuse. And so eventually she's going to leave you alone. If you always got some excuses, why this and why that? People don't want to hear that, especially a woman who is subjected to having children. She want to hear your plan. What is your plan? And let me see him put his plan in action. How well does he follow this plan? And so back to why I listen to women, because I'm a man. I'm a man's man. My dad was a Marine, so he raised me a certain way. I'm like an alpha male, if you want to call it that. So I want to listen to women more, because I noticed that we're so aggressive. We're so, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's go here, let's go there. And we try to motivate our women, but at the same time, sometimes we need to know how they feel. We need to understand how they feel, okay? And we need to somewhat, I want to say, accommodate them in their feelings and how they feeling. That's why I listen to women. I'm listening to women now so I can understand more of women's perspective, because again, a guy, sometimes we just don't get it. So that's all in being a good winner. In order to be a winner, you got to be open. And that's the problem with a lot of so-called leaders. They're not open. This is the problem with a lot of people in the world, why they never become successful, because they think they know and they're not open. They're not opening themselves up. That's one of the things you have to do in order to become a master in business, in order to become an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. You have to hold validity to everyone's opinion. Now, there may be a lot of opinions out there that you may not think is valid, but you want to at least analyze it. You want to be open for information. And a lot of people that are blocked, they're blocked because, I know a guy listens to these motivational tapes every day, listen to these motivational tapes. The most negative dude I've ever seen. And I'm like, what are you listening to? Why do you listen to this every day? So somewhere he got a block. Somewhere he's got a block. He's going through repetitions every day. I'm going to become positive minded. I'm going to become positive minded. But he's hearing it, but he's not listening. He's not really listening because it's obvious in his everyday activities. His everyday activities is totally in opposition to what he's hearing every day, because even though he's hearing, he's not listening. There's something blocking him. And that's why I say you have to be open. You have to be open. You have to be open for new information. You have to be humble. And that's another quality that you have to be a winner. It's a humility that you see in a winner, in a real winner. They're not proud and arrogant and all that. You got some successful business people, but they may not be well-rounded. They may be great, but great doesn't always mean good either. There's some people that would tell you that Hitler was great. Great could be greatly evil or greatly good. Great doesn't have a moral characteristics. It just means big. It means huge. You did something, massive. And so you could be a great evil person as well. And so what I'm saying to you guys is the mind of a winner is moving in accord to your nature. Now, some people can argue this biblically and say, hey, God made us in his image and in his likeness. Well, would it be assumed that God is great, right? That God is a winner, right? We all can assume that God is a winner. So that's our nature. Our nature is great. But somewhere along the line, once we go to school, once we get out of I say, 7th, 8th grade, a lot of our children, you don't see this greatness in them no more. It's like something happened. You see greatness when they're 4 and 5. You see brilliant intelligence, but at 5 years old, but after 3 or 4 years of school, we don't see this greatness no more. It's something happened. Because when the child tells the teacher, hey, I saw something, or I saw an angel, or I saw this, I saw something, they see spiritual stuff, or they feel things. Children feel things. They are very in tune to the spiritual world. And so when we tell them that doesn't exist, we're doing them an injustice. That needs to be cultivated. That needs to be grown. We need to teach them what that is so they can attune themselves even better and align themselves with their destiny and with the creative force. That's why I opened up today, in all the languages that I know, peace. And I said, and I talked about the creator, because I want us to be doing the right thing at the right time and aligning ourselves with the creative force. Wow. And our ancestors who died to get us to the point where we at right now. And I don't believe their spirits are dead. I believe the spirit doesn't die. Okay? I believe the spirit is energy. And energy, one thing they teach you in physics, it never goes away or disintegrates. It just changes forms. It moves on and transcends to different things. Wow. So again, I opened up like that because I want to be in tune. I want us to be in accord to what it is that we're supposed to do. The Family Cappuccino is on time. We're teaching this on time. We're teaching this to the people on time. Now, although there's a lot of people not listening, if you watch the Bible and you listen to Noah or Abraham, these people taught for years and years and years and people was not listening. But that don't mean it wasn't time. It was time for them to do what they did. And so we're going to have, I'm not saying that we're Moses or Noah, I'm just giving you guys an example of what happens when you're on time. You're not going to catch everybody. There's some people who are meant to get this message. And what is our message? What is the Family Cappuccino message? What do we consider ourselves as a winner? I'm going to tell you what I consider as a winner right now in the mission that we on. As a winner, I see hundreds, if not thousands of people being in the Family Cappuccino and making their own financial independence a reality. I see thousands of people coming to this and learning money, understanding money, and say, oh my God, I've been tricked. Oh my God, I thought I knew and I didn't know. But I opened up and I accepted the winner in me and I became a winner. And I'm looking at the masses become losers because they have accepted the negative pull and they have succumbed to the opposition. They have succumbed to friction. They've succumbed to the negative force, because to be a winner is, of course, a positive, and to be a loser is, of course, negative. There's negative and positive. You can't stop it. They move simultaneously everywhere and everything, all the way small. Like I said, the smallest molecule in the whole universe, an atom, you got negative and positive, the polarities. Okay, so I see the Family Cappuccino being a platform to wake the people up. Now, when you talk about money, you're transcending religion. One of the things that have kept our people down for so long is devices. Even in Africa, one of the reasons they was able to pull off slavery was because we had 1,000 languages in Africa. We didn't speak the same language. We had tribalism. There were so many tribalisms going on. It's division is a curse. Now, the Family Cappuccino's theme song is "We Are One." We're going to keep playing that and drilling that into the heads and minds of the people and hearts that come on this team, because we are one. We all had the same problem. We all got the same dang on enemy. We all have the same issues in life. We all pretty much were raised from the same conditions. And we all are those that have pretty much suffered from injustices in this country. And we are the ancestors. You know, we are what you want to call we are the children of those that suffered the most in this country. So that's in our genetic coding. That's in our genes. We can't get away from that, okay? There's certain things that you guys see that happen historically that make you cry because you're in tune with that. That's in every cell of your body, okay? And one thing they're finding out now with cells is cells have the ability to store data. Cells, you have the thing called cellular memory, okay? So I see the Family Cash Machine as a vehicle that will connect our people, transcend religion, transcend, tribalism, transcend political parties, because I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. If you are struggling and if you are subjected to this system of monetary system of fiat currency, then we speak in the same language. We have the same problem. So again, our people in this country or around the world, I'm not just gonna say our people in this country because Ray's in another country and he's still our people. And we have several people around the globe that come from the same background we came from. How did Black people get to Haiti? Let's talk about that. How did Black people get to, Dominican? How did Black people get to Puerto Rico? See, that's a common bond there. How did Black people get to the Virgin Islands? See, all of that happened through the slave trade. All of that happened through the slave trade. So we are one. We are from the same tree. We are from the same experience. So we need to come together in a common goal. And that common goal for the Family Cash Machine is to first teach us about the monetary system that tricked us in the first place. Not just Black people now tricked. Everybody tricked under the system. But of course, being an African-American male and being an African-American who is connected to the diaspora of the historical Atlantic slave trade, I got to speak into that hurt because that's where I came from. But I think that today, in order for the Family Cash Machine to be successful, we have to teach our people how to master their own value, how to take control of their own value, because money is nothing but a transference of value. It is a unit of exchange in a transaction of value. Well, how about we say we're going to create another commodity of value that we control and nobody can go up on the interest rates, go down on the interest rates, or do some things in government and legislation to hinder that value or to increase that value superficially. How about we say we're just going to come out of the matrix all in all and create our own economic system? Do you know what that can do around the world? The kind of reverberating effect that can have. Africa has a lot of resources. And for African Americans or African Dominicans or African Haitians, Brazilians. I didn't even go to Brazil. There's more Black people in Brazil than there is America. If we came together with a common goal and created our own currency, that's revolutionary without shooting one bullet. You've just created the greatest revolution ever in the history of the world. Okay. And another thing is one of the reasons why I'm studying more of our sisters and how they feel. And I want to understand their journey is because for me to be in a relationship, a long lasting relationship right now with a Black woman in harmony is the most revolutionary thing I could do, because they're doing everything they can to break the family bond. They're doing everything they can to promote all type of abominations. And you guys know what I'm talking about. They're doing everything they can to empower our sisters where they don't respect the man. They're doing everything they can to make our women oppose us and to make our women to be more in opposition of us and compete with us, which is creating friction. When I talk to my 17 and 18-year-old kids and their generation and their friends, they're like, married, man, we're not doing that no more. And I'm like, damn, they plan is working. These kids now, talk to them. Don't take my word. Talk to these kids that's 15, 16, 17, 14. Oh, man, I ain't gonna never get married. They have no respect for the union of marriage and relationships. They have no respect for each other. Not young black kids. They don't. I don't know how the other kids are, because I'm not really around young white kids or young Mexican kids. I don't know how they act, but I do know that there has been a very strong attack against the black family. And that is hurting us more than anything, because if I was reading a statistic that said that the homes would have, the 75% of gay men were raised in a fatherless home. They said that 70% of girls that are pregnant in their teenage years were raised in a fatherless home. They said that kids that been in juvenile hall or juvie and teenagers, a good 75% of them were raised in a fatherless home. So all of this, women saying, I can do this, I don't need no man, is having a very negative reverberating effect on us. And it has a lot to do with creating a loser mindset, okay? So that loser mindset could come from, you know, a kid feeling like, say for instance, a little girl feel like, oh, men ain't S. You know, they create that real fast in life now because they listening to the mother talk about the daddy who may not be present, who might went to jail or might have not been taught how to be a father. So this is creating that loser mindset. And so I see the family cash machine as a medicine that we need right now as a people. It all starts with money. They have made money almost to be a level of worship. These kids now, their attitude is, oh, a little young girl, I don't need no man, just give me the money. And this little girls now, 13, as young as 13, want to be strippers because they see the girls on Instagram with all the money. They see the girls on Instagram that look beautiful, driving nice cars, and they want to be strippers because they feel like that's prosperous. But they don't realize the exchange. They don't realize some of those girls end up on drugs because they have given a piece of themselves to people who they didn't want to, you know, and that could have a negative effect on the mindset of a woman, you know, to compromise herself, her sanctity. And you do that over and over again, and some women just lose their soul and just lose their whole consciousness behind it. Because the more you do something against your nature, the easier it becomes. And so the family cash machine, to me, this is way deeper than just us creating generational wealth. We're going to create and establish again in our families morals. We want to create spirituality. We want to create humility, and we want to create unity. Those words right there scare the hell out of the people that want to oppress us. That word right there is revolution. When you're talking about unity, it sounds peaceful. That sounds innocuous. That sounds like something that's good for us all, right? Unity is good, ain't it? No. To those that want to devour you, unity is revolution. And when I say I want to find a woman that I can be a companion with, I don't want just sex. I want companionship. I want to be able to grow with somebody. I want to be able to learn with somebody. I want to be able to help somebody learn. I want to be able to edify one another. To say that today and to teach that today is revolutionary, because this is against what they're trying to create. Because in order for them to slide in the New World Order and all this other stuff, they got to break up the family. They got to break that whole cell down. Okay, and now you got a bunch of mindless people out here that are losers because they've succumbed to the opposition. They succumb to the negative forces. They succumb to the friction. And the negative energy has now become a belief. They believe that now. And they carry that out, and it becomes their attitude. And once it becomes your attitude, that attitude hardens and becomes a belief. And that's where the block at. So when you guys ask me where I see the family cash machine, I see this being an organization, a movement of people who are striving to be their best, we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We might argue. We might, disagree like brothers and sisters disagree. But at the same time, we family. At the same time, our goal is to uplift one another. At the same time, our goal is to continue to help one another towards our ultimate goal, which is to create generational wealth. And that's not going to happen easy. I say that a lot of times, generational wealth, but that's really what my spirit and my soul is. I believe it can happen. And because I believe it, it's going to happen. I talk about it all the time. I study how it can happen. I understand trust funds. I understand how to create a family blueprint. But all of this stuff you can't implement till you get to the levels of money where you can implement it. But in order to do that, you got to start creating a certain mindset. In order to become successful, you got to start creating a certain drive, a certain persistence, a certain ability to overcome the negative forces. And the more you do that, the stronger you become. Every time that baby gets up, you notice the first time they take 2-3 steps. Then the next time they take 2-3 steps. Then the next time they take 4 or 5 steps. Then the next thing you know, they walk across the room and then they fall. So they're building up those muscles, and they're also building up their belief and their ability to balance the negative energy, which is gravity. Now, that could be applied into your mental and spiritual perspective. Have a vision. Believe that that vision can come true. And you're going to stumble and you're going to fall. And you know how many times that baby fall before they can actually run? There's a lot of wisdom in that. We're going to fall a lot of times. Hell, the family capture scene been going 3 years now. And when people come and see it, they think it just started. We have been here 3 years, and we didn't fail. We got up, and me and Dave was just laughing the other day because I built the website in the beginning. And it was just me and Strategic Man on that website. And I wish I could see how that website looked right now, because I would be on the ground dying laughing. But we was doing the best we could do. I went to GoDaddy and just start pasting and sticking some stuff because I had a dream. I had an idea. And I said, wow, this is big. This industry is huge. This is the next thing. This thing here, oh my God, this can change the world. And I'm right. It can. We're right. We saw something in it, and I started building. And I didn't get no momentum. And I was in a little office doing videos, and I had a lot of negativity coming at me. And people were mad because I left the other business and teaching them about corporations and all that and started talking about cryptocurrency. They were pissed off that I did that. But I did that because I saw a demand, and more of a demand, for people to understand money than to understand credit. Okay? Because when you become wealthy people don't use no credit. They use collateral. They go in the bank and they do a loan without even giving the ID. Because they're using collateral. They're using assets to secure the loan. You don't need credit when you have assets. So let's talk about money. Let's talk about how to master money, how to create multiple streams of income, and let's talk about how to protect that bag for our children. Because every generation, we end up starting all over again because we don't understand money. And the system is set up like a vampire to suck you dry with what you don't know. Okay? But it's also set up to reward those that know. So now it's time for us to know. And it's time for us to learn how to connect with our people all over the world and create a massive movement of money consciousness, empowering economics, and networking with one another and controlling the flow of our own value. Those words I just said to you guys is very revolutionary. Even though I'm sitting here with a suit and tie on and I'm talking very nice and I'm being polite. And, those words to those that want to control you are very revolutionary. But guess what? I'm not trying to be this disruptive person. I'm just trying to be a person to deliver the truth and trying to be a person to uplift people in a world that don't want people uplifted. So that puts me in an opposing manner. That puts me in a disruptive perspective, because this world wants to crush and devour people and make everybody their slave. And when I say this world, you know who I'm talking about, the families. I'm going to have to stop saying certain words in public. The families. And the reason I do that is because when I'm on these calls or when I'm on the phone, and I notice when I be saying certain words, I'm thinking about it, because certain words trigger surveillance. There's certain words you can say. If you guys all seen the movie Enemy of the State, this stuff is real. There's certain words you say to trigger those tapes to start rolling. Roll the tapes, you know, and they tell you right there, it's algorithms. It's algorithms. Certain words that you say will trigger investigation. Not that I'm doing nothing wrong. I just want to be effective. Like some people say, hey, I'll die for my people. I don't want to die for my people. I want to live for my people. I want to be here to be able to help and assist and teach and train and empower. I ain't trying to die for nobody. I'm trying to live. That's really what it's about, life. It's about how to survive in a negative world. How do I overcome opposition? That's a winner. Overcoming opposition, thriving, surviving, and prospering against all opposition is the definition of a real winner. And it's a shame, like I said, that I have to talk like this. Some days I have to teach on this because people need this. They're not getting this from the church. They're really not getting this from the mosque. They're not getting certain things that they need to be successful in life. They're not getting it. There's no judge, there's no psychiatrist that can teach them what we teach and train here in the Family Cash Machine. We're giving them something that they need, their nature, their born nature needs, and their very existence needs to survive. And if they don't get that, they're going to be crumbled to pieces, and that's what this system has created. They've created a system to enslave people, to enslave the people. Now, I'm not talking about walking around with chains on. I'm talking about mental slavery. I'm talking about spiritual slavery. I'm talking about you are pretty much a slave to the system. That's what they want. And they're pretty damn close to doing it. And people are going to keep watching all these foolish videos. And when they see a video like mine that's got some substance, they don't want that. They want the foolishness. You keep doing that, you're going to find yourself in something you can't get out. You're going to find yourself in a position you don't want to be in. And now you're going to be trying to learn. Just like I made the joke yesterday that when they cut off the food stamps in California for 2 weeks because they couldn't solve the budget, everybody want to watch the news now. See, everybody was watching the news. It was funny to me because they never watched the news. They were just a bunch of foolishness in that barbershop. Everybody was laughing and joking, and some of the discussions were sickening. I couldn't even have my kids come in there sometimes. But all of a sudden, when they cut off their assistance, now they want to find out what the news is. And you know, you don't want to be caught like that because, you know, that's not the time to be trying to find out. The time to find out is before it happens, not when it happens. Now, to close out this video to the public, I want to say this, that we're headed for one of the worst recessions ever in the history of this country. 2008 recession was nothing. I got a feeling we're headed for a depression, okay? Because when they say recession, we in a depression. When they say they in a depression, hell, we not even on the map. We up underneath the rock somewhere. we living in a trailer park, or not trailer park even. We living in in the park. So we're headed for one of the worst recessions ever in the history of this country. I'm going to say depression. I don't even like using that word, recession. We're headed for one of the worst depressions. Just call it for what it is. We're headed for one of the worst depressions ever in the history of this country, of the world. The entire world is headed for it. You see these people running, just tackling people trying to get over the gates to America because they've been told a dream. They've been trained to think that this is a fantasy, but this fantasy is dissolving very fast. You're going to have people trying to get out of here in a minute, and they're going to lock the borders out, and they're not going to let us get out of here. It's going to be that bad in America where we're going to be trying to leave here and trying to knock the gate down to leave. And a lot of people don't see that coming. And I asked Ellis today, I said, El, why is it that people don't want to know about money? Like, why is it that people don't want to know why they're struggling so much? How is it that they don't want to learn about the very thing that governs everything in their life? I don't get that. And what was your response, El, to that?
They're not feeling it. They don't know what's going on.
He said they don't know what's going on and they don't know what's coming. So the Family Cash Machine, I see as that vehicle to tell them, it's a train coming. You walking right into a train. You parking your car on a train tracks. It's a disaster coming. You need to move your car. Train is on you. You parked on a train tracks. You need to move. So that's what I see us as. We're kind of like just awakening them to get it right. But at the same time, we can't make them have that nature to want to learn. Now, I'm starting to realize in life at my age that everybody ain't chosen. Everybody's not chosen to do better. Some people are on that negative side. Some people are comfortable on that side. But there are those out there that I want to try to reach. Like I said, I'm the type of person when I saw something of consciousness, I gravitated to it and I started doing my due diligence. When I first saw cryptocurrency, I gravitated to it and I started doing my due diligence. Those are the people we're looking for. We're not looking for people we got to beg and try to trick them to come to the channel and all that. No, you stay over there where you at, because we don't need that energy here. We want people that have the kind of tenacity to take it a step beyond and fight against the opposition, fight against gravity. We want those people that want to challenge, the forces of negativity. That's basically what we're doing, because they're teaching everybody a whole different thing than what we learn here. Believe me, the world is on a whole lot of nonsense and false precepts and concepts. We're teaching people the real. I had a gentleman the other day. And he called me. He went through 4 court classes so far, about five of them. And he got to the petrodollar and he said, man, I wrote down so much stuff. I'm going to watch the videos 2 or 3 times because, he said, I kind of knew, America was going after oil and all that, but not how you broke it down. It's like, man, he said, man, you're connecting all the dots. You're connecting all the dots. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that people are getting the real story. And the only reason Family Caption was able to get it because we follow the money. And if you follow the money, it's going to tell you a whole different thing how Kennedy got killed, a whole different thing how Abraham Lincoln got killed, a whole different thing about, the Civil War. You're going to get a whole different explanation of the Vietnam War. You're going to get a whole new depth than what history taught you when you follow the money. Okay, the money going to break it all the way down and give you a whole different story of what they told you in school. And that's why I said after so many years of school, you start creating dummies. You start creating these trained puppets, and they really got a loser mentality. They think they winners, but if you got $100 million and you're a basketball player, if you got $1 billion and you're a businessman working in corporate, I'm not gonna say corporate America, but because ain't too many billionaire black people come out of America. But let's say you got 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. You have the power to change your community, but you haven't did it. You haven't even tried to do anything. That's why I commend LeBron James for trying to do something. But I commend Snoop for trying to do something, because a lot of these cities have taken away from the children having sports. They need sports. They're young men. That's why they go to the game, because they got all this energy, So it's good for them to be in sports at a young age, to learn discipline, to learn how to work out, to learn how to be a loser in case you lose a game. Because like I said, you're going to have a lot of failures in order to get to success. So it's a lot of characteristics that they learn in sports. It could be good because it keeps them out the gangs. It keeps their mind distracted. They got to have good grades to play sports as a kid. So it can do a lot of good. So my point is, there's not enough of our people doing any damn thing in the community with all the money, because they were trained to be a loser. You're a loser if you got millions of dollars and you're not affecting change in the world. If you're not trying to put yourself in a position to be a producer, a manufacturer, or a provider on a major level, then you're a loser. You're just a consumer. You're just a millionaire consumer to me. You're not affecting any change in the world. So with the Family Caption, we don't have millionaires on our team yet, and we're affecting more change than people that got millions of dollars, because it's not all the way about money. That doesn't measure your success all the time. And that's what these children have been deceived to believe. Oh, they got money. Okay, so what that mean? They know everything. They're God. Everything they say is law. Everything they say now is correct because they got some money. And this is the problem in the world. But again, that's that loser mindset. The winner mindset is a person that has vision. The winner mindset is a person that not only has vision, but has belief in that vision. And that belief in that vision eventually makes that vision manifest in the material world, against all the people that said, you know what, man, what you a strategic man doing? And that other dude you got in Detroit, I had a guy on the video now. He talks so bad about us. because he doesn't see what we're doing. He talks bad. He came into the cycler. He got about 8 positions to cycle, and he talks bad about us. But the people listening in on this call, the guy hasn't cycled. He needs 8 people to cycle. It's the cycler holds 14 people. Where did he get those other 7 people from? He didn't bring them. He got that from our team. So how can you talk negative about something that's giving you something free, that's helping you to make money, but you're not even helping yourself? You haven't done nothing to make your business work. When you invest in something, that's a business. That's an investment. And if you don't put something in it, how can you expect it to give you something back? And if it doesn't get you nothing back, how can you talk about me? If you go and invest your money on the stock market, and I told you, hey man, go invest in this, but you didn't go do your homework and you didn't do anything to set your stop losses, you can't blame me if you didn't manage your investment. That's your job to do. So he talks so bad about us, and I listen to him. You know, I listen to him sometimes. You know, he doesn't talk bad to me like that, but he makes little snirkling comments. I still ain't cycled yet. I said, yeah, but you still ain't brought nobody to the calls yet neither. And you still haven't came to the call. He just saw one of my live videos and I saw him on there. But my point to you is he's creating opposition for himself. He's creating opposition for himself because he has a mindset that is not productive to him being successful. All of you guys on this call right now, we're all doing things to manifest this vision. That's why we're being successful, and that's why we're going to ultimately manifest what we envision. So the family caption for me is just bigger than just us making a lot of money, because once we get to that point where we all have made it, then they want to hear your story now. Now they want to hear your story. And then our story should be filled with spiritual struggle, mental struggle, and the struggle that the family caption went through to get all these success stories. We got to tell them that. They need to hear that part. Not, oh yeah, I made 50 million, you know, Strategic Man made 20 million, Dave made 30 million, and Antonio made 50 million. No. Let us tell you how we got here. Let us tell you the story of what the family cash machine really went through. Because just recently when Bitcoin went from 20,000 on down, we became the laughing stock of the world. Are y'all still doing that Bitcoin stuff? How many people said negative things? Right now, I want to hear from the family cash machine. I want to hear from a few people right now. And tell me something negative that somebody said about what you're doing right now. That's a good way to start right there. Anybody? And we're going to go through 3 or 4 people. Tell me something negative. Dave, why don't you share with us what happened to you last week? Something negative that somebody said to you or did to you regarding what you're trying to manifest right now.
Well, which thing? I get so much.
He said, which thing? Anything.
I mean, I got blinders for it, so I really can't even recap nothing, because as soon as they on something else, and I'm off and on something else, you know what I'm saying? So I really don't pay it no attention.
That's because you're
really don't pay it no attention, so I really can't rehash nothing, because if they're not on the same step that I'm on, then I'm stepping, because I'm on a mission.
But tell us something negative somebody said to you in the last week. Didn't somebody put some post or something on your Facebook?
Somebody
posted something on your Facebook about all these Bitcoin people that lost their money. Something, remember?
Oh, it wasn't on my Facebook. It was in a group that I belonged to at my job, and the guy was like, last year at this time, Bitcoin was 19,000, trading at 19,000, and he said today is trading at 3,000. And then the guy in the comments was like, I remember all the idiots leading the charge.
So basically calling us idiots.
Exactly.
But we wasn't leading the charge. We've been in this before that even happened. And the idiots that led the charge are the ones like that didn't know anything about Bitcoin and just heard, oh my God, Bitcoin going up, and they got in. You know, I got family members that jumped in, didn't know what they was doing. They just heard all their college friends jumping in. They jumped in, not understanding what this is all about. It was people like us, like Dave said, that probably sold them Bitcoin at 15,000 and 17,000. Who knew this ain't gonna last? Like, you know, this is just a.
That's what I told him. I said, no, what really happened is while the price was going down, while all y'all hype buyers was buying, us with the knowledge was selling the coins to y'all fools at those prices.
Yeah, cause me and Strategic Man got that Bitcoin when it was $250. So it's people in our position in the know that sold them coins. I didn't sell nobody those coins at that, but I'm just saying, you know, it was when I go on an exchange and sell coins and liquidate, somebody buying them. So, you know, it's an exchange. Hey, Bitcoiner Monty, could you tell me something someone said very negative to you about what we doing and what our goal is in the family cash machine? Can you recall anything? Because I know you have heard some things on this journey. Can you talk? He might be, he might not be able to talk because he might be at work right now. Okay, I'm gonna ask Strategic Man. You want to say something?
Well, I can go just back a couple of hours.
Wait, they can hear you.
But you're in the same vicinity.
Okay, Strategic.
Well, I just offered a person a class and told him he was going to give some of our FCC coins, and they just wanted to know could they buy a hamburger with it right now.
Wow.
Being sarcastic, you know?
Yeah. yeah.
And is it worth the coins he got in the vault from one coin?
Wow.
Actually, it's worth more than the one coin.
I know, huh? You sure right. Well, to that person that said that to Strategic Man, after January, when we launch our ICO, and after that ICO is over, the initial coin offer, and we introduce the next business that we're going to add to our current business that is a making money, that is a network marketing company and classes, after around March or April, they will be able to take our coin and exchange it for Ethereum or Bitcoin, and they'll be able to send it to their Bitcoin card. And yes, they will be able to go buy a burger with it. So that's the answer to his question. We making it happen, man. We making this happen. We're creating our own damn money, man. Who can say that? We're creating our own money, but we're not just creating the money, we're creating value with it because we understand value. We're not just, because if we just create a bunch of coins that don't have no value, then he's right. You can't buy a burger with it. But one coin was what he mentioned to Strategic Man, has value on the computer. You can see $26, but if you don't have a coin on an open market that people are buying and selling, if I'm the only one telling you it's worth $26, how do you really know what it's worth? See, you don't. You only know what something's worth if somebody's willing to buy it for $26 and somebody's willing to accept it for $26. Go ahead, Strategic Man. You want to say something?
But when I broke it down to him that it was his government that won't allow us to participate in all of these activities that we're barred from, you know, he went to another subject.
And he's actually right. His government won't allow him because he has the loser mentality. Now, if I'm trading an object that's invisible, it's encrypted. Cryptocurrency is encrypted. It's on the blockchain. We don't have to use our name, our social, or anything to exchange this. We can also use VPNs, but because we're not using a wallet attached to our physical name and it's an encryption, we can exchange wherever we want, who we want, when we want, and we don't need the permission of the government. Now, if you want to let your government tell you what you can't do, then that's your business. But that's not the purpose of government. Government is supposed to be somebody you put into office to represent you. We put them in office to represent us, not govern us, okay? So when you have that mindset that, oh, they tell me what to do, then you don't even really understand liberty. You don't even really understand the Constitution and what this country was set up for. You don't even really understand your human rights. You think somebody's supposed to govern you, and if you want to be governed and you let somebody govern you, hey man, I hope you have a happy life with that one. But we're not doing that on this team. We're creating our own value that we control. It's not connected to no government. It's not connected to any exterior factors like gross domestic product or interest rates or, you know, national debt, employment. All that stuff that dollar is connected to is what can bring it down. But we're using just pure exchange and trading and letting the market create the value from the people using a certain commodity that creates its own value through trade. And that's what we're doing. And we're doing it anonymously. We're doing it using technology to keep us anonymous. And we're doing it because we don't need nobody's permission to tell us what we can buy, when we can buy, how we can buy, who we can buy from, and all that other stuff. So he's absolutely right. His government won't let him do it. But I'm not asking my government to regulate everything of value in my life. Go right ahead, Antonio.
We're just gonna add on, man. Y'all doing an excellent job, man. I was just gonna say, learn. You know, basically, if for anybody that has something negative to say, I will basically say, you know, we the only direct connection for you to learn how to earn generational wealth.
That's right.
You know, until then, you keep on allowing the banks and your Chases and your Bank of Americas and all them people to keep on accumulating all that $1,500 for every 100 you got, and for all of those that are balling out of control, that got that, what is it, $250,000 maximum financial depository.
Yeah,
you go math on that. Now you times that times $1,500 that they're making off a profit off of your money, and then come and talk about what crypto ain't doing. We'll see y'all when it get to 100,000 a coin.
But that's funny though, because that same guy that was talking to Strategic Man about value, and the same guy that text Dave, or not text Dave, but put on Facebook group last week. I guarantee if we go look at Facebook right now, he's not saying nothing about the stock market. Just hit the lowest low that it did in over 10 years. And they're all talking about the recession that's coming that's going to be worse than the recession in 2008. What has he said about that? Has he made any comment about that?
After Facebook,
let the government
after Facebook
control his value for the next 10 years of recession. This recession is going to be the worst ever. And this one will not result in a recovery. Let me say that again. This recession will not end in a recovery. It will not recover because the dollar has been on borrowed time. That's why it's so important for you guys to take our classes to understand the game is up. Okay? They've exhausted as long as they could and stretched this debt as far as they could. Now, where's the debt? Who do they owe? See, that's what you got to ask. The United States is the one, if the United States is giving you your money, how do they owe themselves? Good question. Who do they owe? Where's the national debt? Who do we owe? Some people say, where's China? Well, how is China in debt? Who they owe? The only person they could owe is America. We're the only strong country strong enough to put them in debt, but they don't owe us. We owe them some money, but they also in debt too. Who they owe? This is what we teach you guys. This is what you need to know. So when you tell us, oh, I know all about money, you don't know nothing about money. Because if you can't answer that question, you don't know nothing about money that you need to know that governs this world, okay? And once you know what it is that's governing everything, then you know how to move and you know how to maneuver and you know who your friends are and who your enemies are. And you won't be making no bad statements about the family capturing because you'll see us as your ally. You'll see us as someone trying to help you to maneuver and save your family, okay? So anybody else got something else to say? If not, we're going to go ahead and sign out right now. I'm going to close this video for the public and just talk a little bit more to the Family Capture Machine members. And you guys like this video, subscribe to the Family Capture Machine. We were a little today kind of serious because we wanted to talk about the mindset, because without the right mindset, you'll never be successful. And you won't even be able to find where success is because you have that mindset of a loser and you've been trained that way. This is not your natural human spirit. This is years and years of false teaching, years and years of lies, years and years of deception that you start accepting as reality. So then you start negatively looking at yourself, and you start seeing inadequacies in yourself. You start seeing, well, you can't do this and you can't do this and this can't happen this way without permission from my government. I can't be successful without permission of my government. I can't create a business without going to the proper authorities. When you start thinking like that, that's the mindset of a loser. Believe me, most companies that are super successful have not asked permission of no damn body. And so this is what we on the Family Capture Machine. So we're going to close out, sign up for the Family Capture Machine, get the free classes right now. It's only 3 free classes you can get. Will give you a free ebook, The Greatest Exchange of Wealth in History. When you read that book, you should understand how generational wealth is actually attainable at this time if you get yourself in the right knowledge and get yourself in the right position to take advantage of it. See, you got to take advantage of it. I don't care if the greatest exchange of wealth ever in history is here. If you don't take advantage of it, then you're still going to end up on the loser side. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out to the public. And you guys, again, subscribe to our channel and go to the Family Capture Machine to sign up right now as a free member. And from there, I think you might want to start purchasing some classes that's going to get you in the right mindset and put you in the right industry that you can become a real winner and you can be the first one of your family. Not to say you finished college and now I'm a professional slave. No, but that you can say that I have now created the mindset that can build generational wealth for my family. And that's our goal on the Family Capture Machine. So I'll see you guys on the public later, and hopefully you guys will follow us and continue to study with us.